feel like all of this converged around January 6th. And obviously the election of Donald Trump, but then January 6th, which we're coming up on a year since that time. And it turns out the director of Plandemic, Mickey Willis, was at the Capitol. He was there, and there were a lot of other folks, wellness adjacent people who were there. And I wanted to play this one clip because I watched it and edited it, so I had to. But I got this. I think Derek, you wrote something on this, talking about the insurrectionist influencers. And there's a woman on Instagram who has 200,000 followers named Lori Ladd, and this is her the week after the insurrection of the Capitol. And she's not been taken down off of Instagram. She has not been, censored or whatever. She hasn't been deplatformed yet, because listen to how she speaks and listen to some of the key words. This is the kind of language and the kinds of videos that are recruiting people. Take a look.
Hello, everyone. Happy Tuesday. I love you. Sending you a massively huge virtual hug wherever you are on the earth plane in this powerful now moment. So, wow, this is what it looks like to shift an entire human collective. It's quite a magical and miraculous show right now. As you are watching large media moguls or internet companies or social media companies censoring in a way they never have before, as you are watching a political system literally dismantle in front of your face, as you're watching all of these things happen, it's not bad. It's not good. It's the evolution of consciousness. I've talked about this before because it is so important right now. Otherwise, you will get caught up in the hamster wheel of the external that we are shifting. You will get caught up in it. We want to be the eye of the storm. Remember, the eye of the storm. We're in the storm. It's going. And it's going to look like a movie.
I fucked that up. I just couldn't anymore. That was my bad. We're in the eye of the storm. It's gonna look like a movie. Literal Q language, eye of the storm shit. This is a week after the insurrection, saying just in the most coded, like woo-woo, new agey shit. Like, this is just we're just elevating consciousness. Don't be afraid. We're breaking through. And I love you, mwah, wherever you are on the earth plane. Does that mean the earth is flat? Like, what the fuck? What do you mean the earth plane?
We first off, Matthew wrote Insurrectionist Influencers. So, but we worked together. All of us worked together on a lot of stuff, but the Capitol stuff we all worked on. But specifically to that, the one word I didn't bring up earlier when I said individualism is privilege, and privilege in the wellness space is very real. And so basically you have these figures who can afford to live the way they do, and then just basically say, you can too, and then pay me for my course, pay me for whatever that is. And I don't know Lori Ladd's financial situation, but there is this ethos within this community of it's completely not grounded in science, philosophy, really. It's just they live at a level that they just expect that everyone else can, and it's very blinded. One parallel podcast to us is Decoding the Gurus, which we love. We've had some Matt on our episode, and they talk a lot about, because they're not American, and they talk about how American the wellness industry is, and it is really steeped in privilege. And that is just such a good example of that. She has no idea what the actual studies of consciousness represent. They're just keywords that they pull up. They're buzzwords that they put out there, and they just think it sounds good. And unfortunately it does attract audiences.
And in the comments, I wanted to say there's a lot of like, hey, why don't you talk about the pedophiles, da 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 da. But then there's also a comment of someone who was like, I just realized that you're a total Trumper and all this is code for Trump, but I love you anyway. And thank you, because I'm so glad there are people on the other side, even though I disagree with you, who are like so lovely and full of light. And next to her video where she's basically like praising and super, like, you can see her like giddiness at what has just happened at the Capitol.
I mean, two things about that. One, she claims to channel the Galactic Federation, so there's that. So she gets into these very heightened states where she's like, the Galactic Federation were just talking to me while I was taking a nap, and I had to hop on and tell you what they had to say. But the other thing is that video and one that she made a few days before the insurrection are both filled actually with incitements to violence. They're both filled with spiritualized ways of framing things like the insurrection, things like the militia movement. And Christiane Northrup has done the same thing, where they're actually talking about domestic terrorism as if it is part of this great spiritual awakening that's happening as we levitate into the fifth dimension of reality beyond the earth plane. It's
you don't believe we can? What are you talking about?
Well,
but from afar, at the very least, Mickey Willis was there. Like he went there and he was part of it. Most of these people are in their homes, safe from any of this.
And that's the privilege you're talking about.
Yes, exactly. Because if they actually confronted it, they would wilt. So like that's something that is just it's really hard to see some of these people talk about violence when they would not stand up in any of these situations. And not that I want them to. I don't think any of us want that.
Yeah.
What's going on, Frantifa? If you haven't already, subscribe to this channel right now. Hit that button. And also, you can become a patron and support the show every single week. Get access to bonus episodes and exclusive merchandise. Patreon.com/bitchuation room. Do